Emotions are a powerful force, essentially energy in motion that deeply influence the nature of our relationships and interactions. When we engage in daily emotional exchanges with someone, whether those emotions are positive or negative, we create an invisible yet potent energetic bond. This bond ties us to a shared reality, one that is co created and maintained through these consistent emotional interactions. This cycle of reaffirming emotions is a double edged sword. On one hand, it can foster a sense of connection and understanding, creating a strong foundation for a relationship. Shared emotions can lead to deep empathy, mutual support, and a profound sense of belonging. However, on the other hand, if these shared emotions are negative or limiting, they can lead to a state of emotional stagnation. In such scenarios, the relationship becomes anchored in a repetitive cycle where the same feelings, reactions, and interactions occur day after day. This repetition keeps both individuals locked in a status quo, where personal growth and the evolution of the relationship are hindered. The energy of the relationship becomes static, and the potential for change or progression diminishes. Moreover, when our emotional energy is consistently aligned with another person's in a negative way, it can create a resonance that amplifies these emotions. Feelings of anger, resentment, or sadness, when continually mirrored and reinforced by another, can grow in intensity, further entrenching the individuals in a shared but unhealthy emotional landscape. This phenomenon is not limited to romantic relationships, but can also occur in familial bonds, friendships, and even professional relationships. For example, a workplace environment where stress, frustration, or apathy are the predominant shared emotions can lead to a collective sense of stagnation, affecting overall morale and productivity. The consistency of our emotional energy plays a significant role in shaping our perceived reality. Our emotions color our experiences, influencing how we see the world, interact with others, and perceive ourselves. When locked in a cycle of reaffirming the same emotions, our worldview and experiences tend to remain unchanged, creating a feedback loop that reinforces our current state of being. The story of the employee, a single mother, vividly illustrates the impact of emotional energy on one's life circumstances. Her daily struggle to raise her children without financial support from her ex husband is a testament to her resilience and determination. Despite her valiant efforts through various means, engaging state agencies, consulting attorneys, and making direct appeals, her situation stubbornly persisted unaltered. This unchanging reality was not just a consequence of her external circumstances, but was also deeply rooted in her internal emotional state. Her emotional landscape was dominated by a strong sense of survival and an undercurrent of resentment towards her ex husband. These emotions, while entirely justified given her challenging situation, unwittingly kept her trapped in a cycle that continuously reaffirmed her current reality. Her feelings of survival drove her to fight tirelessly for her children, but they also anchored her in a state of constant struggle. Similarly, her resentment towards her ex husband, though understandable, created an emotional bond that tied her to the very situation she wished to change. This cycle of survival and resentment had become a lens through which she viewed her world. It colored her interactions, her decisions, and her perception of her situation. Unbeknownst to her, these emotions were contributing to the perpetuation of her circumstances. They were like a feedback loop, reinforcing her current reality and preventing her from moving forward. The seminar she attended proved to be a turning point. It offered her a moment of clarity where she could step back and observe the impact of her emotions on her life. She realized that her attachment to these feelings of survival and resentment, though understandable, was not serving her or her children's best interests. It kept her in a state of emotional turmoil and hindered her ability to see potential solutions to her problems. This realization was the first step towards breaking the cycle. By acknowledging the role her emotions played in maintaining her current reality, she opened the door to transforming her situation. It marked the beginning of a journey where she could start to detach from these debilitating emotions and foster a more empowering emotional state, one that could lead her to a new and more positive reality for herself and her children. During a profound meditation session, the single mother faced a transformative moment. She bravely confronted the deep seated emotions that had become an integral part of her daily existence. It was in this space of introspection and quietude that she recognized the necessity to release the negative feelings she had long held towards her ex husband. This realization was pivotal, marking a significant shift in her journey towards emotional freedom and personal growth. This act of surrender, however, entailed much more than merely relinquishing her feelings of resentment. It was an exercise in breaking free from the invisible yet powerful energetic bonds that had anchored her in a persistent reality characterized by struggle, anger, and judgment. These bonds, formed and strengthened by her emotional attachment to her past experiences, had unwittingly kept her locked in a cycle that continuously reaffirmed a challenging and painful life situation. By choosing to let go of these negative emotions, she was not just altering her emotional state, but was actively transforming the very fabric of her reality. This process of release was akin to cutting the strings that tied her to a continuous loop of hardship and conflict. It was a profound release of the energy that had been consumed by resentment and survival, energy that could now be redirected towards more constructive and healing endeavors. In surrendering these feelings, she was opening herself to a world of new possibilities. She began to shift her focus from harboring bitterness to cultivating feelings of healing and forgiveness. This shift was not just symbolic, but was a tangible change in her energetic vibration. Forgiveness, in this context, was not about condoning past hurts, but was an empowering act of releasing herself from the emotional weight that had been dragging her down. This newfound focus on healing and forgiveness marked the beginning of a significant transformation. It allowed her to view her circumstances through a lens of compassion and understanding, both for herself and her ex husband. This change in perspective was not an overnight process, but a gradual shift that required constant nurturing and reinforcement. Moreover, this journey of emotional liberation had profound implications for her life. As she released the negative emotions and the energetic bonds they created, she noticed changes not just in her inner world, but also in her external circumstances. She found herself responding differently to challenges, interacting with others in more positive ways, and attracting new opportunities that were aligned with her changed energy. The process of surrender that the single mother experienced was transformative, bringing about a significant shift in her internal landscape. As she sat in meditation, the act of releasing her deeply held negative emotions culminated in a visible change, a radiant smile that lit up her face. This smile was a manifestation of the profound inner transformation she had undergone. It signified a departure from a state mired in resentment and a constant battle for survival to a place of joy, peace, and freedom. This change was profound and multifaceted. It wasn't merely about freeing herself from the burdens of past hurts and grievances. It represented a fundamental shift in her approach to life. She transitioned from being inward, focused, where her energies were consumed by personal struggles and resentments, to an outward, focused perspective characterized by a sense of connection and empathy towards others. This was a journey from a constricted state of being dominated by the ego and its concerns to an expansive state where the self merges with the collective. Her newfound state of joy and freedom transcended personal liberation and touched the lives of those around her. In her state of expanded consciousness, she began to wish for abundance and well being not just for herself, but for everyone in her vicinity. This was a significant shift from a mindset of scarcity and competition, where one is primarily concerned with one's own survival and gain, to one of abundance and generosity. This evolution from selfishness to selflessness reflected a profound laying down of the ego. The ego, which had once dictated her reactions and interactions, was now replaced by a higher sense of self, one that recognized the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of contributing positively to the collective well being. Her identity expanded to encompass a broader perspective, recognizing that her own well being was inextricably linked to the well being of others. Moreover, this internal transformation had a ripple effect on her external reality. By embracing a new, expansive identity, she began to attract experiences and interactions that resonated with her elevated state of being. Relationships became more harmonious. Opportunities for growth and abundance seemed to present themselves more readily, and her overall experience of life became more enriched and fulfilling. The transformative experience of the single mother had a profound impact that quickly manifested in her external reality, illustrating the powerful connection between our inner state and the world around us. Within just a few days of her internal shift, her circumstances took an unexpected and positive turn. Her ex husband, who had been unresponsive to her pleas for financial support, suddenly reached out to offer the overdue child support. This action on his part was not just a mere coincidence, it was a direct consequence of the energetic shift that had occurred within her. Her ability to release the deeply held emotions of resentment and hatred towards her ex husband had a liberating effect on her psyche. This liberation went beyond her personal sense of freedom. It catalyzed a tangible change in her life situation. The shift in her energy and perspective opened up new pathways for the resolution of her problems. By letting go of her negative emotional attachments and the energy of struggle, she unconsciously invited a space for positive changes to occur. The sudden agreement of her ex husband to pay the child support was a clear indication of how internal changes can influence external circumstances. The sum he offered was not only a financial relief, but also a symbolic representation of the shift from scarcity and conflict to abundance and resolution. Her situation, which had seemed stagnant and hopeless, was transformed, bringing in new possibilities and a renewed sense of hope. This change also reflected a broader principle at work, that our emotions and thoughts have a profound impact on our reality. By holding on to negative emotions and expectations, we often unknowingly perpetuate the very situations we wish to change. In contrast, by adopting a more positive and open mindset, we can create a conducive environment for change and growth. Furthermore, her experience underscores the concept of energetic alignment. When she shifted her internal state from one of bitterness and resentment to one of forgiveness and openness, she aligned herself with more positive outcomes. It's as if her new emotional state sent out a signal to the universe, inviting a response that matched her new vibrational frequency. The impact of this experience extended beyond the immediate financial relief it provided. It served as a powerful affirmation of her ability to influence her life circumstances through internal transformation. It reinforced the idea that we are not helpless victims of our circumstances, but active participants who can shape our destiny through our thoughts, emotions, and energy. The dramatic shift in the single mother's reality following her internal transformation serves as a compelling example of the dynamic interplay between our inner states and external experiences. By releasing negative emotional bonds and embracing a more positive and open mindset, she was able to effect a significant change in her life situation, turning a long-standing challenge into an opportunity for growth and renewal.